Hello, hello. This is Kristina, your host today, and today is this new episode of KSM Podcast, Running Business Online with Kristina. And I'm so excited today to have my special guest speaker, Neary from France. Neary, welcome to the new episode of KSM Podcast.
Thank you, Christina. I'm really excited to be part of this podcast. And you know what? This is my first time doing a podcast. So I'm a bit anxious, but I'm sure you will
Yeah.
help me
And
out.
thank you. You're so welcome. Thank you for joining. And I'm so excited to have you, especially that you're for the first time guest on some of the podcasts. And Neri, can you introduce yourself? Can you tell us who you are and what you do? And as I mentioned, you're based in France.
So yeah, I'm based in France, but I was actually born in Cambodia. It was a quite some time ago. It was 48 years ago. And I arrived in France when I was 5 because I was born during the Pol Pot War. During that time, 2 millions of people have been killed, and I was a survivor with my family. And we had the chance to arrive, the entire family, and just starting a new life. And now I'm a mom of two, a daughter of 17 and a boy of 14 years old. And today I'm working in a corporate world where I've been evolving for the last 22 years. And then now I'm reflecting a lot. You know, when you arrive around your 50s, you start to think of what I have been doing and what I'm going to be doing in the next few decades. And I'm in this transition. And last year, in the same time as my corporation work, I have opened a wooden toy shop, an eco-friendly toy shop, and I'm setting my mind now to move to more entrepreneurial environment. And I'm also having other projects that I can share with you a bit later.
Yeah, this is really fantastic, and your story is amazing because, that KSM podcast, Going Business Only with Christina, is dedicated to entrepreneurs who wanted to start their own business journey for small business owners or companies, but also who wanted to share and spread the word about their business, inspire audience, and also maybe encourage some of listeners. You can encourage some listeners by your story. Starting, there are people who are stuck and wanted to start their own business journey, and also to get more visibility and to get and try to connect on just to on internet to be on the international market. And this is really I think that you're in a really good place today to share with us, because especially as I always ask my guest speakers about their background, and you mentioned that you're in corporate job, and you finally wanted to start your own business journey. And as a mom, of course, and mom of two, and what triggered you to start, just to open your shop, to open that toy shop? And also, and you said in the 50s we shifted our mindset, and I think that as a business owner, as a female entrepreneurs, maybe we don't think like in when we were in 40s or 30s. We are much more experienced, and this is about, it's going to be very, very excited today with you.
Yeah, so I guess that I had uh, how would I say, an unconventional story, because you know I told you that I grew up in my first years of life in Cambodia, and it was a terrible situation at that time. It was not very comfortable because my family and my mother have lost all her family during that time. So we move in a crisis situation. And I guess that because I've been, escaping a country to another and to arrive in a country where I had to learn a new language, a new culture, new people, I have been able to adapt quite easily, I would say. Maybe not easily at that time, but I didn't really perceive it that way because, when you're 5 years old and you're learning a new language, I didn't really remember the maybe the hard part of learning a new skills. So I've been living in this survival mode. And when we arrived in France, I also lost my father when I was 7, and my mom with 3 kids. She had to survive and to fight, and this was my environment. So I learned to fight and to also make
To
sure
have
that
a
my mom.
courage to move forward, either on your
Yeah.
circumstances in your life as a kid.
Yeah, so my mom was an inspiration because at that time she was um, 26 when she arrived in France. So when we lost my father, she was 27. With I was 7, my second brother was 2, and the last one he was 6 months. And she had to just find a way for us, and she kind of pushed me to succeed. I had no choice than to succeed. So I have been educated, and in a way, I succeeded for my mother. I succeeded for my grandparents because my mother had been adopted to her parents in France, but I've been always doing things for the others, and I ultimately succeed. I've been educated. I've been working in this industry for 22 years, and I had this amazing international career because I started in Paris, went to Azerbaijan, worked in Angola, and then in 2011, I moved to Asia Pacific and evolved in Kuala Lumpur in Malaysia and also in Australia. And now I'm back in France. So when I look back, I had an amazing career, but there has been a lot of up and downs. And last year, I think this is where I have really reflected because I'm always, pushy. I'm super active. I'm running. I'm cycling to work. I'm swimming and
Perfect. I love that.
have a lot of passion. And I'm also kite surfing.
Oh.
But last year, because I'm also traveling a lot with my corporate work, every month I'm traveling at least once, and I'm traveling in the United States, in the APAC, in
All
Africa,
around the world.
all
Just
around.
imagine that, thankful to that career and to that corporate world when you're still engaged and involved, it's gives you gave you opportunity to travel all around the world. As you mentioned, ups and downs, but also there are people who really wanted to, for all their entire life, they don't really have chance to visit maybe 2, 3 countries. And this is such a great experience.
It is actually. So when I'm sharing my life, my friends are telling me, "Oh, that's great. You're traveling all around the world. I've never been, next week I'm going to Norway." And she's saying, "Oh, that's great. I love Norway. I wish I could go because it's so nice." But people see the good part of it, but usually I'm traveling on a Sunday, so it's impacting my family life. I arrive on a Monday, I'm tired, and I just need to start, the a full day of work in the evening. It's business dinners, and I don't have so much time to visit. So of course, I'm
You
traveling in
don't have
good
too much time for
condition.
yourself
I
to
don't have
visit,
it.
to just travel, travel,
Travel,
travel, work, and
work, sleep in the
sleep.
hotel.
Yeah, and
And
sometimes it's hard. It's hard
it,
work.
it's now I'm starting to be tired. So when I was 20, 30, it was really excited and I loved it. And, traveling, it's also knowing new cultures and people. And yeah, I really liked that life in the past. But now that I'm, yeah, almost in my 50s, I don't think I can continue to have that pace. And
Maybe you
yeah,
want something new. You want something for yourself.
yes, and you know what has triggered it? It was last year. I went for skiing and I twisted my ankle. So then I couldn't run, I couldn't cycle, and I was really annoyed about that. And then it was in December last year, and then on January I went to a trip in California. So I couldn't run, that's fine. But when I came back, I was able to cycle. So I went to my bike and went to work. But with the jet lag, I was really tired and I fell over. I had a head trauma. And after that incident, I was willing to go back to work. And doctor told me, no, you need to go back home. And then I told him, okay, I will cycle back to work. And he said, no, you're not taking your bike. You get your bike in the metro, you go back home, and then you rest. And I went home and I said, why? Why should I stay home? I'm fine. But I was not fine, after you fell over on the head, and luckily I had a helmet. I was feeling dizzy, but I was thinking, no, but it's okay. And even my husband, he was traveling and he received that message that I had an incident, and he said, no, Neary, you need to stay home and you need to rest. And I rest at home and I was thinking, yeah, but actually I'm not fine and I'm just willing to continue. Why am I like that? I've been like trained, educated to that corporate work, to work, 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 and don't even think about myself. So after this incident, I went back for snowboarding, and again, I broke my rib, and injured my shoulder. Um, and then I went kitesurfing and I injured my leg. So it's just like a 4 or 5 incidents in a row. And
Something showed up just as a
my
sign.
body was talking to me and said, Neary, and even my friend was laughing at me and they said, Neary, you're not 20 anymore. I was so annoyed to hear that, but reflecting on myself, the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 incidents. So if I don't stop, I will probably just kill myself. That was, the reflection that I made. And last year I had also a big surgery, and I had to stay 1 month at home. I was feeling really depressed, not being able to stand up, to walk. And I was thinking, yeah, but you imagine if you have an accident and you become handicapped and you're no longer be able to do anything. I said, no, I don't want to have this life because I want to continue to do all my activities. But, with this corporate work, all this travel, and I want just to enjoy my life. There is a conflict here. I want to have time for me. I have no time, so I'm doing things, at a very fast pace and I'm hyperactive. And this is not life. And, I've been, pushing myself and to succeed. And, kind of to impress my mom, to impress my father, who is looking at me from the sky. And now I'm thinking, I've done that. I've done all this career. I have succeeded. Now, who is Neary? Who is that person who has succeeded and what she will be doing in the next years? And the corporate world, I think that it was one page of my life. And now I want to do something for myself, for me. And this is where the toy shop has
You
just
know,
born.
I have to say that when we work, and we really don't have time to think about our health, and especially in front of the computer, you know, whatever we do, and then when we have something as a sign, as you had experienced, that we sit down and say, okay, who am I? How can I do that? Because people just work, how, and then after that, and this is such an inspirational story, because just for our listeners, just to think about health, to think about who we are, to think about what we wanted to do next, because you know we lose energy, we can get back, but we're not still the same persons, because
Yeah,
change brain changing, our body is changing, changes every single day, and this is
yeah. And
this is
my
good sign to change something in career, in life, and
mm,
see who we are
mm.
exactly.
And in my corporate work, we tend to firefight and we tend to fix things. And we have in the industry I'm working in, we have a lot of incidents, and we tend to say, okay, we have an incident, so what should we do to prevent this accident to occur? So I'm already in that mindset that actually we shouldn't wait for the accident to occur. We should action before and be more preventive. And now I'm in this situation, like I would like to be more preventive for myself, and because it's important to live. But then what I can bring to other is also that reflection that we need maybe to slow the pace and to live the moment, to be good and to be um, focused on ourselves, understand what is our purpose. And then after, when you feel good, then you can go back and be performant. And I was thinking that in the world that I'm evolving, because I'm evolving in the executive area, so it's a higher hierarchy in my organization, and a lot of people are in the same situation as me. So I really want to help my peers to understand. Sometimes you just going at this crazy pace. Help them to just stop, reflect, maybe slow down, and have maybe a time for themselves, just to have a walk, or just to find time for themselves, and just to create some space in the head, because this is what we need, and this is needed for us to be a better person, to be a better performer. And that's what I would like to give others. I feel that I had a great chance to be able to have that career, that experience internationally, and I can help others to find that same way that I'm now finding. That transformation that I'm living now, and I'm really realizing it. And it took me, yeah, more than 40 years to understand that. And I come to know, like 3 years ago, when I went back to Paris, because after the COVID, I spent 10 years in Asia Pacific, but my corporate sent me back to France. It was a very difficult move for me when you move away from your country for such a long time, and then you're coming back. And you know how French culture is. People are grumpy, they're complaining, and it's
It's a different
let's say different
culture.
culture.
Yes.
So I came back, and with a new position. When I was in APAC, I was managing the entire Asia Pacific, no, Asia region with 150 people. And they moved me to a role. It was a kind of promotion from my company perspective, But for me, I didn't have any more team. Of course, I have like a global footprint, which is great, which is the corporate work, the strategic work, and I have access to the more executive level, but I have no more team. And moving to another role at that age, or I felt very uncomfortable. It's like having a new job, and I felt the imposter syndrome at that time. It was also phasing with the separation of one of my kids, because we were living with the father of my kids. We were sharing the kids one every other week, and when we came back to France, he moved in the south of France, and I'm living in Paris, and the court has separated the kids. That was really a heartbreaking decision for me. So I I felt I had that at that time that I felt in my personal life with my son. I was thinking, yeah, I felt as a mom to get him back with me and with his sister. So it was a failure for me. That's what I thought. I felt that at work, professionally, I was not, on top of how how much I used to be. And then I'm remarried, but then it has also impacted my couple. So in just you know even I had this 2 decades of career. At that time, I found I'm just failing in all the areas: my family life, kids, my couple, my work. I'm just nothing. I really felt the imposter syndrome. And at that time, I think I was really depressed. And even my husband told me, you need to go and see someone like a psychologist, or someone to help you out. Because even if I was running and doing all my sport activity, I couldn't get over. And this is where I found a coach to help me out and to realize, all the things that I was doing, and saying, hey, you have 2 decades of success, and now you have, okay, maybe this year you're not so great, but don't just smash all your career in the past, and just take that and find the energy to move forward. And this is the energy I got, and say, okay, now I need to do something for myself. And this toy shop, it
Yeah, yeah,
was
and I wanted to get back on a track about this. Yeah, and this is background about, and this is a story about how toys shop started. How did you run that shop?
yeah. So I've got one of my best friends. He opened this toy shop, and when he visits me, he just told me, "Oh, you live in a really nice area, because I have my beach house in the southwest of France, around Bordeaux." And he said, "Yeah, this would be the perfect place to have a toy shop." And we were just having drinks and laughing about it. And last year, when I was feeling that depression, I said, I need to do something. And the toys, for me, it's representing the kind of childhood that I didn't have. I told you that I lost my father when I was 7. At the age of 7, I was already the chief of the family without knowing it. But I had to support my mother, I had to support my brother. And I felt that my childhood has just been skipped.
And you're getting
And
back in your childhood environment, which raising your energy and
yes,
feeling to
so
move forward and
the
recover yourself.
yes, so it's a kind of getting back to what I didn't have. And the toys, this is getting you back to that uh, time of your life, and actually you can play games and toys all the time. Even now you can play with your friends, with your family, and it's always you always have good
You
time.
can find there every toy which you want for every single person.
Yeah, and
What kind of what type of toys kids like, but yeah.
Yeah, no, it's wooden toy, and it's handcraft, it's handmade. And I wanted also to select my toys from handcraft makers, because as I have an engineering background, I love to see how the products are made. And last year I went to visit all these handcraft makers, and I just loved it. I find that really amazing how the mind is set to create that great product. So yeah, so that's how the
And this
connection
is your
was.
new brand in terms of small business and capacity for opening many shops, maybe, or not just only one,
Yeah, so
two.
the intention is to make that shop grow. So now we have 2 shops, and the idea is to develop further this shop, and that is
Congratulations on
my.
that. Congratulations. Really, I'm so excited for your small business and your entrepreneurial journey.
So that was my first building block to be an entrepreneur. So it's not that easy, because in the corporate work, okay, I have I was always the boss. So I always had a
Like
team
a
of people.
leader, you have your
Yes,
always
I
your
have.
position in that world.
Yeah, so I always had this leader's position. So I had the finance, I had the HR, I have my engineers, I have my project managers, I have my customer service manager, and because I used to manage a multi-million business, but for the corporate. But now I'm starting this small shop. I need to do my accounting. I need to hire uh, my people. I need to order myself. I need to go to see my supplier. I have all this hat. So it's kind of hard, but I think that the fact that I have this background of corporate, I know each of the function, and now I'm working on delegating all this hat to make sure that I can just focus on the development of this business. But
Yeah.
it's just the starting.
Yeah, and I really wish you such a lot of success with that. And always we are here in KSM podcast to support you, and so just to move forward and that listeners hear your voice and see your body language and understand your story, because I would love that only one person, if we can inspire with your story, that will be fantastic. So for listeners just to be inspired by your story, life story and business story.
Yeah, and I so you told me that I'm getting very excited, and effectively, the fact that I have put this first stepping stone in the entrepreneurship, I wanted to go further. And I've been reflecting on what I like and what would be my purpose, because the toy shop it's nice, but it's more like a business. It's something to maybe to help me financially to live. And even though the product is great, I want really something to feel a purpose in life. And I told you that I have a passion, which is kite surfing,
Yeah, and this
and
is
I
this is the other
just.
question what I want to share with us. And you have also the third part. It's about, I mean, some you would, it's about with women leaders or some network what you
Oh
run. But maybe
yes.
you can share also with us. But before that, just you can share about kite surfing and what is it about and what is your intention with it. It's very interesting and very
Yeah.
unusual.
It's kind of unusual. I told you that, you know, when I'm feeling depressed, when I'm stressed and anxious, I would go and kite surf. Unfortunately, I don't kite surf every day because living in Paris is a bit far from the ocean. But when I'm in my beach house, it's just a 10 minutes drive. But when I'm kite surfing, this is the only moment where I can just live the present moment. You know, it's a kind of active meditation. But, you know, I have problems with my family, with my couple, with my work. I just take my kite in the ocean. I feel the sea breeze on my face, the sun, the waves, the current, and I just feel happy. This is my happiness moment.
And you
And
can have chance to see and feel all beauties of the Mother Earth.
exactly. So this is where I'm really connecting back to Mother Nature and to the universe in a way. And when I was on my kite surf, I was thinking, this is life, actually, being standing on my board and just riding uh, on the wave through the wind. And this is what I would like for me and for others. I want people to have the same feeling of happiness. And how I could help others is maybe to bring other executive with me and going for an immersion, like I don't know, a week without a phone, without a laptop, and just taking care, pampering ourselves,
And just
and
be human beings
just be human beings and sharing, you
without
know, the
all those
same,
devices.
yeah, and just taking time for ourselves. And for me, it's so important to slow down the pace of this executive crazy life, slow down the pace, take time for ourselves, and just enjoying the moment with a fun activity like kite surfing, yoga, diving, apnea. Even in wintertime, it could be snowboard because I'm also fond of snowboard. But this is what I would like to share with other leaders that would want to come with me and to have that experience. It's just to slow down the time and have that time back for themselves, creating the space in their mind so that when they're going back to work, they are just super re-energized. And
And you
this
have
is,
your blog, I mean, just maybe you can share with our audience when people can read
yes,
it,
I
just to know
started
much
my
more
blog.
about to get information, what you do. And maybe you can share with us, or I can put all those links.
Yeah, for sure. So I've just started to share the story that I'm sharing, and you know all this transformation I'm going through, because a lot of people are going through that transformation. And you know, after the COVID, people have been reflecting a lot. You know, I used to live in, no, I was in Malaysia at that time, but I know a lot of friends who were in Paris who moved away from Paris just to have this peace of mind because the world was becoming so crazy. So
And in that time, I know I met amazing, guest speakers, and I hosted them. And this is such an amazing story. It was one lady. She was piano teacher, but her intention and wish all her life was to be a dress designer. And in that time, in the time when she was locked down and all, she created 52 classic dresses models, and because she wants that all her life. Not, and she said, I've created something for myself, what I really want. It doesn't matter if you respect your kids, your husband, but this is only for me. This is something what is such a big meaning for myself.
Mm-hmm.
And now she's, all many. She has a fashion week in Italy, in Paris. She lives in California, in LA. And in that time, I was like, okay, there is something good in that when you can connect with your family. So many people shifted their business, as you mentioned, in the time
Yeah.
of virus.
And what you mentioned is really important. She has connected back to herself. And this is really the realization that I have. Now I'm connecting back to myself. So I no longer need to prove anything to others. I mentioned to you that earlier I was thinking I was working to have good marks for my mom. I went to that corporation and to show her that I can succeed, and I succeeded for her. And now
But
I
it
have
it
enough to
wasn't for
succeed.
you.
It
You
wasn't
didn't
for
think like
me.
that.
I
And
didn't
it's
think
a
like
final
that.
time to think about you. Because
And now,
sometimes we always we are format of environment of our parents, what they like, what they need. Maybe it was now for maybe 40 and 40, 50 years ago, 30 years ago. But today, I mean, that we finally realized who we are and who we wanted to be in some way.
yes, exactly. And we are in this social life. You need to show that you are successful, that you have a career, that you have a husband, that you have a house and a dog and kids. And this is, all the criteria of success. And we've been educated like that, and we're just trying to achieve that standard. But at what stage? Some people, I told you that with all these incidents, I could just have a big accident and just stop my life. I mean, being handicapped, not being able to run and do all my activity, for me, it's like dying. And this is what society is pushing you to. And now I'm happy that I finally understand what is my wish for myself and the purpose I would like for my life. And in a way, I want to give back what the life has given me. You know, I I was born during the war. I could have been killed at that time. And my mom told me the story, and that could be another podcast. But the story of my mom is really incredible. And when she told me what happened, I think I could have died. I don't know how many times before we arrived in France, but I survived. So I always find that I was lucky that the life and universe are giving me something, a gift, and now I want to uh, give that back to life.
Yeah, I
And
think it's final time for that. And Neri, can you share with us about that leadership board, or about the women, what you do in terms of networking?
yes,
For
and
women entrepreneurs, you're in that board or
and in
executive.
it's actually a good transition. I told you that I want to give back what have been given. And in my corporate environment, I'm also the chair of the Women's Committee. So in France, we have this committee, and we're doing action to help the ladies to get more confidence. Because I'm working in a male dominant area, the energy industry with engineers, and most of my peers are male um, professional. And in my group, I'm organizing events like a conference, and inviting also speakers to inspire that ladies that you are a woman, but you can have operational and you can be a leader. Because myself, I've been in offshore, I've been working in vessels. In Angola, I've been twice, 6 weeks on a vessel. And when I was in Australia, I spent 5 months offshore on rotation, 3 weeks on a vessel and 3 weeks onshore. So it's a hard environment, but it's as hard for the ladies and for the male. Because when I was in Australia, there are men who couldn't bear staying on the vessel because it was a too hard environment. You are stuck in you're talking about COVID when you're confined at home, but at least you can go out. On the vessel, you can just jump into the water if you're not happy on your vessel. So it's kind of harsh, but it's possible, and nothing should be preventing us to do the same as the men. And for me, it's not a question of gender. You are you, and maybe it's the connection back to yourself. You are you, and you can just do whatever you want. You can be a firefighter, you can be an astronaut, you can be an offshore
Pilot,
worker,
or
pilot. I wanted to be a pilot when I was younger, actually. So this is what we do in this committee, and as part of this committee, I'm also doing intervention at school. And there is one school I was really grateful to be part of that, because it was the school I was going when I was at the same age as these students. So I went back to my school and I was sharing my career, and just to share to these little girls and little boys that you can be an engineer and be as strong as the men. And one of the little girls, she said before I left, "Oh, I want to go with you on your boat." So I was kind of proud to be able to inspire this young little girls to become engineers and to go in more scientific area.
But as you
So this is what
mentioned,
I do.
ladies, because we're in our nature to be a mom, I think that we are much more stronger and like so serious about it, and how I can say, with more obligation in our nature, in our DNA.
I
Because
think we bear the responsibility in a more natural way. When you bear, your child for 9 months, and you have this relationship, and you're nurturing already your baby, and when it comes, uh, it's something just incredible.
yeah,
Giving birth is
this is
the
this is
most
incredible.
amazing.
And before we ramp up, we spoke about many things today, and I think that we will have the other episode, other call, maybe to the end of
In the
this
future.
week, or so to the end of this year, or maybe next year. But in terms of encouragement on that organization in France for women, who could be a member? Only is it only do you work online, offline, and women maybe do you want to spread the word to create that globally to connect, or just in France?
Oh, okay. So what I'm doing within my corporation is only in my corporation, but I'm connected to an association which is called Elle Bouge. It means let's move, or let us move. And but it's very French. But if for the French listeners, they can connect to that association and be like a godmother. I don't know if you call that, but you can be part of that association and elect to go intervene in this school. But it's mainly for the female who's got technical background, because we want to intervene at this early age.
Yeah, and can
For
you repeat, please? It's for women who had what kind of background? I didn't understand.
technical background, like
Technical.
engineers, scientists, the STEM area, scientific, technical, engineering, and mathematical. So it's for us to go and inspire little girls to go in this area, because I'm evolving in a male-dominant environment, but it's because engineers. I'm a mechanical engineer, and out of my 150 classmates, we were maybe 15.
Yeah, I know.
And it was
A
more than
small
20 years
percentage of
ago,
females.
very small. And I thought that nowadays it would have increased, but it's still not. So it seems that the young ladies don't have interest in this area. So we are maybe 25% in engineering school. And, in my industry, we are, yeah, less between 25 and 30% of ladies, but across the globe, mixing all the different talents.
Yeah,
So this is what we're promoting,
yeah. Thank you so
having
much
more
for
ladies
sharing that. Yeah,
in the
yeah.
industry.
And so where female entrepreneurship, we need to move and raise up that percentage in
And
every
entrepreneurship,
industry.
it's a really good avenue to, we need to be more female entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
And
And for before we ramp up, I always our call today, what would be the message for our listeners who wanted to start business, own business journey, was in corporate sector or cut off or just be redundant, whatever. Um, and I always say you need to try. If you have business idea, as you mentioned, your sh- shop, toy shop, or this is your example, this is what you do, but in kite surfing and other things. But for our listeners who will have business idea, but they are in start.
I would say, it took me 40 years, over 40 years to realize that, but trust yourself. We are what we are because of all this experience. We never fail, but we gain experience. And when I look back, yeah, I had lots of success, but I have also lots of what I call failure at that time. And I really, because I was very strict with myself, the level of excellence that I'm putting I was really hard on me and never realized all the great thing that I was doing until I get a coach. Um, but believe in yourself, and if you are in a situation where you feel a bit weak or you need support, go and reach out a coach, a friend, a psychologist, or anywhere. But somebody who makes you realize that you are great, because we are great. And once you have that realization, and then you can trust yourself, you can do whatever you want. It's just magic.
There is no boundaries. So near how listeners can connect with you. Uh,
I have a LinkedIn
how they reach out to you on social media or your
on social
website or
media.
blog
So I have a
websites.
LinkedIn profile on my corporate world, and I have also post all the things that I'm doing with the empowering women. I have a website for the toy shop and a website for my blog related to kite surfing and my transformation. And yeah, you can connect me through Facebook and Instagram for the toy shop and the kite surfing future program.
Maybe people can join to you for conversation about kite surfing. Maybe who is interested
Yeah.
to know more about, because as you mentioned, we need coach, we need mentor, and engage someone. So you are some of coaches because you have such a professional and life experience to coach someone, to help them, to give support or advice how to move forward. Because I know if we don't, if we learn from our failures, and if we don't fail, we don't know how it's going to be. Sometimes all we in our life, we have our ups and downs. Neary, thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for sharing your amazing story. And for our listeners, just to let you know that Neary will be a guest again on KSM
I
Podcast.
I will. It was such an honor, Kristina, to be part of your podcast, and really, I really appreciate the time I'm spending with you. It was an awesome time, and I think I can do other podcasts. You
Yeah, and
really
what is
get
curious,
me
I will
comfortable.
put that video is in my Facebook group. Audio is on Amazon, Apple, Spotify. It was a Google Podcast, but I think that it's doesn't exist anymore because they're in FeedSpot, on Podchaser, and also will be a YouTube channel. So this is something what I'm going to do, and it's going to be
That's
public
really
link. So
exciting.
we will be on YouTube as well. And thank you so much. And
Thank you,
again, it's a
Kristina.
pleasure, and see you very soon. Have a really, really fantastic day, and wish you all success in your life and in your health. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Kristina. I really appreciate it.
Okay, bye for
Bye-bye.
now. Bye bye.
Bye.